For the last 50 years, you have been sold a massive, multi-billion-dollar lie about your skeleton. You've been told that as you age, your bones are destined to become fragile, hollow, and brittle. You've been told that the only way to save yourself from crumbling is to drink more milk, take a handful of chalky calcium supplements every morning, and wrap yourself in bubble wrap. Welcome to Dr. Levitas. But what if I told you that your brittle bones have almost nothing to do with a lack of calcium? What if I told you that osteoporosis isn't a bone disease at all? It is actually a muscle disease. Today, we are tearing down everything you thought you knew about your skeletal system. We are diving deep into the biological magic of Wolff's Law, why your heart-healthy cardio routine is secretly starving your skeleton, and how picking up heavy iron is the only true way to forge an unbreakable body. Please take a second to like the video and leave a comment. Your engagement is a huge help to the channel. Let's start with the most dangerous misconception in modern health: the idea that osteoporosis is just a calcium deficiency problem. Your skeletal system is not a dead, dry piece of scaffolding. It is living, breathing, dynamic tissue that is constantly breaking itself down and rebuilding itself. To build strong bones, your body absolutely needs raw materials like calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium. But here is the ultimate catch. Your body is incredibly stingy with its resources. It will not spend energy packing calcium into your bones unless it has a biological reason to do so. If your muscles are weak, small, and underutilized, they do not pull hard against your bones. Your brain senses this lack of tension and makes a ruthless evolutionary calculation. We don't have strong muscles moving heavy loads, so we don't need a heavy, dense skeleton to support them. You can swallow all the expensive calcium supplements in the world, but without a mechanical signal telling your body where to put that calcium, it simply floats through your bloodstream and gets flushed down the toilet. Osteoporosis is fundamentally a muscle weakness problem because muscle tension is the primary language your bones speak. If the muscle is silent, the bone simply wastes away. To understand how to reverse this wasting process, we have to travel back to the 19th century and look at a principle discovered by a German anatomist named Julius Wolff. Wolff's Law is a fundamental rule of human biology that states a simple, profound truth. Bone in a healthy person or animal will adapt to the loads under which it is placed. Inside your bones, you have a microscopic, never-ending construction site. You have cells called osteoclasts, which act as the demolition crew. Their job is to constantly break down and dissolve old, micro-damaged bone tissue. On the other side, you have osteoblasts, the master builders. Their job is to lay down fresh, dense, new bone matrix to replace what was lost. When you sit on the couch all day, the demolition crew works faster than the builders. But when you subject your skeleton to physical stress, Wolff's Law kicks in. The mechanical stress triggers the osteoblasts to go into overdrive. They rush to the site of the stress and start building thicker, denser, heavier bone architecture to ensure that the next time you face that stress, your skeleton can handle it effortlessly. Your bones are literally shape-shifting to survive your environment. So, how does a heavy barbell actually communicate with microscopic bone cells? It all comes down to mechanical tension and a fascinating phenomenon called piezoelectricity. When you put a heavy barbell on your back and squat, your massive leg and back muscles have to contract with terrifying force just to move the weight. These muscles are attached to your bones via thick, fibrous tendons. When the muscle contracts, the tendon pulls violently against the bone. Because the load is so heavy, your bone literally microbends. You can't see it with the naked eye, but the bone matrix flexes under the weight. When this dense, crystalline bone matrix bends, it generates a tiny electrical charge. This electrical spark is the ultimate biological distress beacon. It travels through the bone fluid and physically wakes up the osteoblasts. The heavier the weight, the harder the muscle pulls. The harder the muscle pulls, the deeper the bone bends. And the deeper the bone bends, the more aggressively your body is forced to calcify and thicken that specific area. You are not just building your quads in the squat rack, you are literally forging unbreakable, high-density armor. Now, you might be thinking, I don't need to lift heavy weights. I swim for an hour every morning and ride my bike. I'm incredibly fit. I need to deliver some harsh truth. Your cardiovascular fitness might be elite, but your skeleton is actively starving. Low-impact exercises like swimming and cycling are phenomenal for your heart and your lungs, but they are an absolute disaster for your bone density. Why? Because they completely remove gravity and impact from the equation. When you are suspended in water, you are essentially in a zero-gravity environment. When you are sitting on a bicycle seat, the frame of the bike is carrying your body weight, not your legs. Because there is zero structural impact and very low mechanical tension, your skeleton receives no stress signals. In fact, studies on elite competitive swimmers and cyclists frequently show that they have lower bone mineral density than people who simply walk for exercise. If you only do low-impact cardio, you are sending your body the exact same biological signal that astronauts send their bodies in space. We don't need to fight gravity anymore. Dissolve the bone to save energy. If you want to build bone density without lifting heavy weights, you have to introduce gravity back into the equation with extreme prejudice. You have to utilize plyometrics. Plyometrics, which involves explosive jumping, bounding, and rapid changes of direction, is one of the most potent triggers for osteoblast activation in the human body. When you jump in the air and land on the ground, you send a massive high-velocity kinetic shockwave straight up your skeletal column. This is known as a ground reaction force. When this shockwave hits your bones, it violently shakes the fluid inside the porous bone network. This shifting fluid creates intense shear stress on the cells lining the bone walls, which acts like an alarm bell for your osteoblasts. The bones of your hips and spine realize they must become dramatically denser to absorb these repeated, high-impact collisions. This is exactly why gymnasts and sprinters boast some of the highest bone densities recorded in the medical world. They don't avoid impact, they actively weaponize it. We need to address a terrifying statistic. The primary reason the elderly end up in nursing homes is due to fractured hips from falling. But why do they fall in the first place? It is not just because they have poor balance. It is because they have lost their fast-twitch muscle fibers. Your muscles are made of different types of fibers. Your slow-twitch fibers are for endurance, like walking or jogging. Your fast-twitch fibers are for explosive power, like sprinting, jumping, or, most importantly, catching yourself when you trip. As we age, if we stop lifting heavy things and stop moving explosively, the body preferentially eats away our fast-twitch muscle fibers. This is the tragic vanishing act of aging. When a senior citizen trips on a rug, their brain sends the signal to their leg to shoot out and catch their balance. But because the fast-twitch fibers have completely atrophied, the leg simply doesn't move fast enough. They hit the ground, and the weakened bone shatters. Lifting heavy weights and doing explosive movements doesn't just make the bone harder to break, it builds the fast-twitch brakes and shock absorbers that prevent you from ever hitting the floor in the first place. Finally, let's talk about the absolute cutting edge of longevity science. For a long time, we thought muscles and bones only interacted mechanically, by physically pulling on each other. But we now know they are actually talking to each other chemically. When your muscles contract deeply under heavy resistance, they act like a massive endocrine organ. They secrete powerful chemical messengers called myokines, such as irisin. These myokines travel out of the muscle, swim through the bloodstream, and bind directly to the receptors on your bone cells. These chemical text messages literally instruct the bone tissue to increase its density, ramp up its metabolism, and stop the demolition phase. But the conversation goes both ways. In response to the mechanical load and the myokines, your bone tissue releases its own hormones, like osteocalcin, which travels back to the muscle to help it produce more energy and grow stronger. Your muscle and your bone are engaged in a beautiful, closed-loop survival system. They are best friends, constantly whispering to each other, ensuring that as long as the host, you, continues to move, lift, and fight gravity, the entire structure will remain invincible. Here is the doctor's verdict. Osteoporosis is not a life sentence. It is time to stop viewing your skeleton as a fragile porcelain teacup that needs to be protected from the world. Your body is a highly adaptive, anti-fragile machine that thrives on resistance. Osteoporosis is not a life sentence, and brittle bones are not an inevitable part of aging. They are the biological consequence of a life lived without mechanical tension. By stepping out of the pool, getting off the stationary bike, and having the courage to pick up heavy iron, you are doing more than building a great physique. You are turning on the master architects. You are sending the chemical text messages. You are building an unbreakable frame that will carry you through a lifetime of absolute physical freedom. Stop treating the symptoms. Start pulling the steam. Watch this video suggestion. It was especially picked for you. Please share, comment, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you. It helps a ton with the algorithm. Remain tuned for future videos and keep growing.